It is a truly remarkable story. John joins now. Good morning to you, John. We were just looking at the pictures there, and when you saw the picture of Abu Hamza, you even said it's just extraordinary that.
Yeah, it feels so surreal. It doesn't. I feel so detached from that where my life is today.
Yeah.
At present, it's just so far removed from what I'm doing now.
As a child, you grew up in and around an environment where you were surrounded by sort of hardened criminals.
Yeah.
What was that like for a child? Was it just normal?
Well, yeah. To me, it was kind of like I've always been quite an ambitious person. And I always wanted to be successful when I was a little kid. And I can remember I always wanted to run British Telecom when I was little. Even though it's outrageous now, I look back. But
that was your ambition?
Yeah, my ambition. I wanted to be successful in life. And everyone that I looked at that had the trappings of success, monetary, cars, houses, did what they want when they wanted, all engaged in criminal activity. So then that just felt like the natural progression for me to go down and do. And I was just completely misguided to a certain degree.
And what you knew growing up as well was that you would never talk in the house itself because you knew that the house was being bugged and monitored.
Yeah, because it's just like just paranoia all the time, not talking on mobile phones and talking in cars in the third person because I always thought my cars were bugged, so I'd never talk openly in cars. And yeah, it's just that air of paranoia all the time, always looking in your rear mirrors, making sure the police aren't following you around, and counter surveillance all the time.
So you ended up with prison sentences for robbery, conspiracy, firearms offences. I mean, you're someone who I'd normally be pretty scared of, to be honest.
And I would have probably been scared of myself, like, because my life back then was completely chaotic. Like the way I perceived life and what my thought pattern was and what I wanted out of life, and it was terribly, terribly destructive. What
was the point at which you think everything just changed and you put that all behind you?
Well, when I first got arrested and I was put in a high security unit in Belmarsh prison, so I was like at the end of the line. There was nowhere else I could have gone. That was it, because they thought I was going to escape. And then I got transferred to another maximum security prison up in Yorkshire called Full Sutton.
Like you were being treated the same as terrorists?
Yes,
or people with allegations against them?
There was no difference. They basically put me on that statute because they thought I was going to break out of prison. And then I had no desire at all inside myself to change. I didn't want to be rehabilitated. I just wanted to get out of prison as fast as I humanly could, and I didn't care how I did it. And I got transferred out of Full Sutton, and I was just basically biding my time before I got released. And I got transferred to a lower security prison because I was coming towards the tail end of my sentence. And then when I was in there, I was watching a game of football one night on the TV. Ireland were playing France in a World Cup qualifier, and it was November the 14th, 2009. And at half-time, I phoned up my cousin to talk about the game because I couldn't believe Ireland was still in the game. And my cousin said to me, "You on your own?" And I said, "Yes." And he went to me, "I've got something to tell you." And he went, "Aaron, my best friend died." And I was just like, "How?" And he said, "He's died in a car crash." And then the next day I found out that he was committing a robbery in Holland. And as he was driving away with a couple of other guys, the tyre on the car blew out and the car flipped and he died instantly. And something in my head, even today, it was such a powerful thing. Like, it made me look at my life, and I thought I had done nothing. I had achieved nothing.
And you need to turn that round, and you started pursuing rowing.
Yeah.
Inside. Why rowing particularly?
Well, because what happened, Ben? When I was in prison, I started training at the beginning of my sentence in my cell because it was a form of escapism. So it got me out of prison for 2 hours a day. I would just do thousands of burpees and press-ups and step-ups. I put my prison chair to the end of the cell. And then obviously my body was going for this sort of transformation. And then when my friend died, I went in the gym one day and I just wanted to have more extra gym sessions, and there was a guy doing 1,000,000 metres for charity. So I asked the prison officer, because I saw him down there every day, could I do the same thing and I'd get extra gym? So he said yes. So now he just basically ripped this pass out and I could have access to the gym 7 days a week. Yeah. So I went down there every day and did 2 hours a day on the rowing machine.
You now have 4 standing British rowing records. You've broken the record for most distance rowed in 24 hours, the longest continuous row. Meanwhile, prison guards are watching over you. Yeah. Your motivation is that you weren't in the prison cell, and you're getting fit, and that's obviously affecting your mental health, I presume, at the same time. You're now classed as one of Britain's top ultra athletes, which is a better reputation to have than an armed robber.
Massively, and what I've come to realise, what I'm doing now with sport, and what sport gave me, because I'm so passionate about this, because it literally saved my life. Like, if I did not engage in sport, I'd have ended up dead, like physically dead, or I'd have ended up spending my whole life in prison and then been dead by default. And it literally saved my life. And if I can show children and kids or anyone that's listening to this right now that
There's an
if I've managed to do this at 30 years old, what can they do at 13 or 14 years old?
Well, it's an absolutely compelling story, and it's
This is your
so
book,
interesting talking to
From
you.
Iron Bars to Iron Man Redemption, and it really is an incredible book. I first saw an interview with you with Steve Wiley on City Life, which is amazing. You are an inspiration.
Thank you very much.
Good
Gary.
luck with
Thanks.
the Iron Man. I'm sure you're going to be world champion at some point.
Hope so.
It's lovely. Thanks for
McAvoy.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Good
Thank
to
you.
see you. Thank you so much.